It's easy to feel like you need a whole collection of specialty equipment before you can get good results sewing knits. But the reality is that you can sew knits successfully with far fewer tools than most people think. I'm Sarai, and I've been sewing for almost 30 years and teaching people how to build a meaningful, custom wardrobe for the last 15. Today, I'm walking you through exactly what you need to sew knits. We'll cover what to start with as a beginner, what upgrades are worth adding as you gain experience, and which tools you can safely skip. So instead of guessing what to buy next, you'll know exactly what you need for the stage you're at right now. Let's start with the bare minimum. 3 things you need to sew your first knit project. You might already have some of these, which means you're closer to being ready than you think. And if you don't, they're all pretty inexpensive and easy to find. One of the most common reasons knit seams go wrong has nothing to do with your technique. It's your needle. Universal needles will technically work, but they're not built for knits. The sharper tip can pierce the fabric, causing pulls and runs. A ballpoint needle has a blunt tip that pushes through the fibers instead of piercing them, which is exactly what knit fabric needs. And if you're working with anything that has spandex or lycra, reach for a stretch needle. It's designed to move through elastic without skipping stitches. A small swap, but usually the first thing I check when a knit seam is misbehaving. Knit seams take a lot of stress. They need to be able to stretch with the fabric or they'll pop. Polyester thread has a little bit of built-in stretch to it, which means it can move with your fabric instead of snapping under pressure. Cotton thread, on the other hand, isn't designed to move with knit fabrics. So when the fabric stretches, the thread can't keep up and it snaps. Polyester is inexpensive, widely available, and probably already in your stash. And your thread choice is only half of the equation. Your stitch needs to stretch too. A straight stitch on a knit seam has nowhere to go when the fabric pulls, so it just snaps. A zigzag stitch has inherent stretch built into the stitch path itself, which means your seam can move with the fabric. Most modern domestic machines can do this, so you may already be covered. Some machines also have a lightning bolt stitch or other dedicated stretch stitch. Any of these work well. The key is making sure whatever stitch you choose can actually move with the fabric rather than fighting against it. Before we move on, if you want to go from avoiding jersey knits to actually enjoying them, we put together a free cheat sheet that covers everything from choosing the right jersey for your project, preparing and sewing it successfully. It even includes a breakdown of the most common jersey types and what they're each best suited for. So you can walk into any fabric store knowing exactly what you're looking for. It's a quick reference you'll come back to every time you start a new knit project. Link is in the description. After a project or two, the basics start to feel more natural, but you'll probably find there are still a few things that feel harder than they should. These are the tools that smooth out those rough edges and make a noticeable difference in how your finished garments look and feel. Pins can distort knit fabric or leave small holes, especially in more delicate knits. Fabric clips, like Wonder Clips, hold everything in place without piercing the fabric, and you don't have to worry about accidentally sewing over them. They work on everything from straight seams to curved necklines. And because they're easy to see and remove quickly, they actually speed up your workflow once you get used to them. They're also a must if you ever move to a serger where sewing over a pin can damage your machine. If you've ever noticed your knit seams rippling after you sew them, your presser foot is likely the culprit. A standard presser foot feeds the bottom layer of fabric forward, but not the top. On stretchy fabric, that mismatch causes the layers to shift, which shows up as rippling along the seam. A walking foot solves this problem. It has its own feed dogs on top, so both layers move at exactly the same rate. They attach just like any other presser foot, and there's one available for almost every domestic sewing machine. One of the trickiest parts of sewing knits is getting a hem to stay put. The fabric stretches, the fold shifts, and you end up with a hem that's uneven. Enter Wonder Tape. It's a popular brand of wash-away, double-sided tape that holds your hem in place as you sew. The name brand version is pretty widely available, but you can find generic versions that work just as well. We use Wall Wax wash-away tape in our studio. It doesn't gum up your needle and it dissolves completely in the wash, so there's nothing left in the finished garment. Knit fabric has a tendency to stretch out as it's sewn, which can leave your finished garment looking too big, stretched out in certain areas, or just with wavy seams. Sewing a stabilizer right into the seam helps support it and gives it a bit of extra recovery. Clear elastic, knit stay tape, or strips of knit interfacing all work. Just sew whichever you choose right into any seams that are prone to getting stretched out. You don't need to stabilize every seam, but shoulders are the most important place to start. They're usually the first place a knit top begins to lose its shape. It's a quick extra step that adds just enough structure to keep everything springing back into place. A rotary cutter is your best friend for cutting knits. Scissors can drag and shift the fabric as you cut, which throws off your dimensions without you even realizing it. And you won't notice until you're at the machine and nothing is lining up. The rotary cutter just glides through without lifting the fabric off the table, so everything stays exactly where you put it. To get the most out of it, pair it with a self-healing cutting mat and pattern weights. Knit hems need a stitch that can stretch with the fabric. A straight stitch here will pucker and pop just like it would in a seam. A twin needle gives you that clean, double-stitched hem finish you see on most ready-to-wear knit garments, but whether it's worth it comes down to personal preference. They can take a bit of troubleshooting to get right, tension especially. And a zigzag gets you a great result with a lot less fuss. Personally, I prefer a 3-step zigzag because it's even stretchier. Try both and see what you like. And if you're feeling inspired to dive into knit sewing, don't forget to grab that free Jersey knit cheat sheet. Everything we've covered today works best when you're starting with the right fabric, and the cheat sheet walks you through exactly how to find it. It's free and the link's in the description. Once knit sewing becomes a real part of your practice, you start to think differently about your tools. The basics are still doing their job, but you're ready for something that makes the process faster and the results more refined. These next 2 investments are worth serious consideration if you're at that stage. Sewing knit seams on a regular machine gets the job done, but it takes time, and the finish is never quite the same. A serger trims and sews at the same time, producing a stitch that's stretchy, durable, and clean. Unlike a zigzag, which sews back and forth across the seam, a serger wraps thread around the raw edge of the fabric, encasing it completely. That's what gives serge seams that flat, neat finish you see on the inside of most ready-to-wear knit clothing. If you sew a lot of knits, it can cut your construction time roughly in half. That said, sergers can be tricky to set up and use, especially when it comes to threading and adjusting tension. So there is a learning curve. And even basic models can be pricey, so if you're on a budget, know that everything we covered in the first 2 tiers will absolutely get you where you need to go. If you want to learn more about how sergers work and whether one might be right for you, we have a whole video dedicated to exactly that. I'll link that in the description. One thing to budget for alongside the serger, cone thread. Sergers use 4 threads at once, and the loopers go through a lot of it. Standard spools will work in a pinch, but you'll run through them surprisingly fast. Cone thread comes on large spools that hold a lot more thread per cone, making it much more economical in the long run. One thing worth knowing, cones aren't designed to sit on a regular domestic machine spool pin, so they're really intended for serger use. But you can get a special holder if you want to use them with your regular machine too. You don't need a cone in every color. A few neutral basics work well for the loopers since those stitches sit inside the seam and they aren't visible. For the needle threads, which do show on the outside of your garment, you'll want to match your fabric more closely. And here's a specialty thread you might consider, woolly nylon. This soft, fuzzy thread goes in the loopers of your serger and has a soft texture with plenty of stretch. It's perfect for knits that sit close to your body like swimsuits. If you're getting serious about knits, there's one more tool you'll start hearing about. A cover stitch machine. It's one of those things that sounds like an obvious next step until you actually look into it. The real question isn't what it does, it's whether you actually need it. The answer might be different from what you expect. Watch this video next.